On today's episode, we're going to talk to you about a shorter work week, Florida, now you can say gay, and more. Stick around, stay tuned.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the show, episode 69. I'm one of your hosts, Sean.
And I'm Manny.
Did it backwards today. Thank you for joining us on another episode. We hope you all enjoyed last week's episode.
What did we talk about? Go back.
We talked about Ariana's album.
Yes, Eternal Sunshine.
Yes.
I keep wanting to call it External Sunshine.
It just fucks with your brain when you look at the word.
It does fuck with my brain.
How are you feeling about the album now?
I
You've
like
had
it.
more time with it.
It's a solid album. It is not her top album, in my opinion.
Okay.
But there's a lot of good songs in it when you listen to it cohesively. It's pretty good.
Me too. I feel the same way. Like, it is a solid body of work. I enjoy it. I've been playing it a lot. Again, Thank You Next is still her magnum opus for me.
Yes, for you.
But this is, she did her thing. Not mad at it. Except for that Mariah remix, but we don't have to talk about that.
What's a remix, you know? You don't have to play the album with the remix.
You don't. You can skip it. But how are you doing today?
You know, I'm here. We're surviving. We're thriving. And when we're not thriving, we're trying to thrive.
I love that.
How about you?
I am hanging on by a thread. Kidding. I am doing good. Today has been a little challenging, but we are working through it. That is why we have tools. That is why we go to therapy. That's why we take care of our mental health. And this podcast is one of those ways that helps, lift me up a little bit. So hoping to get some of that today.
You lift me up. Who sings that? Josh Groban? No?
It does he?
I don't know. I wanted to act like I knew something.
Okay. I feel like I've heard that, but
yeah.
Don't. Anyway.
I don't know. Anyways, we hope all of you are doing well out there and taking care of yourself, thriving, or partially thriving, or hanging on by a thread. We hope you're all doing well. Shall we get into the mixtape?
Let's do it.
Yay. Let's go.
In a world where the bizarre meets the absurd, where reality is just a suggestion, and where the only rule is that there are no rules, comes a podcast that's so out there, it's in a category of its own. Okay, look. Tune in every Tuesday to the Scream Queer podcast with me, your host, Ralph Anthony, where I'm talking true crime, horror, paranormal encounters, and my personal favorite, unpopular opinions. Tune into my wild listener submission segments that will have you sleeping with the light on, and hot topics including social issues that'll have you scratching your head saying, wait, what? So if you're ready to laugh, scream, and maybe even learn a thing or two, grab your popcorn, your tinfoil hats, and your sense of humor, because the Scream Queer podcast is about to take you on a wild ride to the outer limits of absurdity. Available wherever you listen.
You're in the mix.
Welcome back to episode 69's mixtape. I just want to see how many times I can say 69.
Is that going to be your thing this episode?
Grow up, Manny.
Grow up.
69 is just the number.
It is just the number.
It's after 68.
Go ahead. What are we talking about today?
So Senator Bernie Sanders has proposed legislation of a shorter work week. Now, before we dive into the conversation, let's hear it right from him.
Asking today is a pretty simple question. Do we continue the trend that technology only benefits the people on top, or do we demand that these transformational changes benefit working people? And one of the benefits must be a lower work week, 32-hour work week. This is not a radical idea. France, the seventh largest economy in the world, has a 35-hour work week, and is considering a 32-hour work week. But one of the issues that we have got to talk about is stress in this country. The fact that so many people are going to work exhausted, physically and mentally. And the fact that we have not changed the Fair Labor Standards Act. This was in 1940. We came up with a 40-hour work week. 1940. Who is going to deny that the economy has not fundamentally and radically changed over that period of time?
So there you have it from Mr. Bernie Sanders, who I think was born in the 1940s.
If you don't know who Bernie Sanders is, you may have remember him from such memorable memes as him with mittens in a chair.
Oh, yeah.
And other things. I can't think of another one right now.
He's from Vermont, so ice cream, right? Ben & Jerry's.
Mhm.
Ben & Jerry's up in Vermont. So he's proposing legislation to essentially lower the working hours, 32 from 40, but not lose any pay. This bill would have a reduction over a 4-year period. So it's not like tomorrow. Actually, it's got to go through the whole bodies of Congress. And we know Congress likes to move slow unless they're trying to ban TikTok.
Fair.
That's a whole separate argument. But first, let's see what our listeners had to say about this radical proposal.
Okay.
One person says, capitalism will not allow this to get through.
I also kind of agree with that statement.
I would agree with it too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even think the bill is going to leave the committee. Like, it would take. And then for the House of Representatives to pick it up, child, please.
All these kids want to do is sit around and play on that TikTok. That's why we're trying to get rid of it. And they don't want to work. They just want to get money from the government. They want us to take care of them and their babies.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just like that. Somebody else said, I just want to work less and get paid the same or more. Fair, I think everybody does.
I mean, look, from what he said, like, it's real out here. Like, a lot of people are overworked. A lot of people are stressed. A lot of people's mental health is not well because of their job. But you got to put in those 40 hours because these bills still got to get paid. And if you tell people they can have a 32-hour work week where you get like time to recoup and chill and, you know, not to be stressed, I think is a great idea.
I agree as
in
well.
practice.
I mean, a lot of it also has to do with the advancements in technology, production, AI. Like, we're still working like if we were in the 1940s. Somebody else said, let me get this right. We will work 4 days a week and still get paid for 40 hours. That, in theory, is a proposal. Will it become actuality? Absolutely, probably not.
Somebody said he should have ran on this when he was running for president.
I mean, he probably would have won this time, considering the picks we have. We have another comment that says, been saying it for years. 40-hour work week worked before tech got advanced. Now I can get the same work done in half the time. Why am I twirling my thumbs for 20 hours?
I mean, that's fair. I feel like a lot of people can get their work done in a fast amount of time. And then you're just like, what do I do now?
Yeah. I mean, my job is based on technology.
Right.
Everything we do is virtual. So, I mean, the advancements have, like, first of all, my job wouldn't exist if we were in person. But I think about my time working at a university. Like, I remember when I started, everything was paper. Everything was a paper. Everything was a paper. It needed to get sent to this office via inter-office mail. You put it in a little folder. You wrote the office number. Wow, that's so long ago. Then we advanced to scanning it right to the person that it needed to be. And then we're like, oh, wow, why don't we use the system to actually do what we needed to do instead of the forms? So I agree. Like, technology has definitely advanced the workplace, and we shouldn't still be working as if we were in the 1940s. Somebody responds, amen, laugh out loud. I think this will really mess up people who are on hourly pay.
I mean, that depends, right? Like, I feel like it would be up to whatever corporation, whatever management to figure out how that works for them. If people are doing like 410s, or, well, if it's 32 hours, you don't do.
I mean, I see it as it being everybody's going to be on a salary. There's not going to be any more hourly wage. And then they're going to have to equate that salary to hours, like especially in the hospitality industry.
Right. And that's going to be I feel like that part is going to be a big pushback for some places.
Capitalism.
Yes, capitalism in general. Because there are so many hourly workers.
Yeah. Unless there's like caveats of like, if you're labeled as a part-time employee,
right,
this doesn't apply to you or something like that.
Right. Because if you're part-time, you're not doing.
That has its whole own dangers of like, everybody gets classified part-time, but then they're scheduling you. Well, I guess they can't technically federally schedule you for more than 32, but they can like force you to work more hours.
There's a lot of nuances and details that need to be worked out, but I still think it is a good idea.
Yeah. The last response we got was, I love that idea, but it won't happen until boomers are gone. Millennials will be the elders, and it will be. Well said. I don't think. Well, first of all, it's hilarious. Bernie Sanders is the one pushing this.
Sure.
Because we have much younger people that will tell you to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and work 60 hours of overtime because, their parents did it back in the 40s. Okay.
And we live in a different day and age and time. And it seems like they don't want to move forward. I feel like a lot of them either fear technology or just don't want to get to know the technology. And then we have our politicians who are dragging us back to the past anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I get that when we say 32 hours, we're like, oh, you're not doing any work. You just want to get paid and not work. But we also are in a different time where we're not afraid to talk about mental health and the drain it has in the workplace. And really, this new generation, people say they don't want to work. And this new generation is like, I'm going to prioritize myself because at the end of the day, I just work for you. You don't have a problem getting rid of me.
Right.
So I'm going to do the job that I need to do. And that's it. Nothing more, nothing.
And I feel like another thing with technology, like we said in the beginning, like it makes you more proficient at your job. A lot of us can get our jobs done faster thanks to technology. It doesn't take us a day to write up a report or whatever because we're not doing it on a typewriter or an old school Macintosh. Like,
did you ever get to use a typewriter?
Yeah, I've used a typewriter.
Yeah, so have I.
I took a typewriting class in high school.
I did too. Not in high school.
Wait, was that?
I took a CAD class in high school. That was not smart.
AutoCAD?
Yes.
They taught you AutoCAD?
Yes. We had an electronics program at my high school. Yeah.
Do you know you don't know how to use AutoCAD now?
Bitch, I barely passed that class. I think the teacher felt bad for me. It's like, why your dumbass in here? I was like, first of all, I'm not good at geometry, and now we need to go in here and draw shit in AutoCAD. What? Anyways, back to the topic at hand. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the things, as you heard in the clip, he is focusing it on, the advancements in our work. And then the people who are benefiting from us working 40 hours a week are the people at the top. Because this is another thing. I'm sick and tired of rich people, rich, can I say this with my aligners? Rich people telling me how much I need to work and how I need to be in an office to be successful. While y'all rich people are always on a fucking yacht or on some catamaran across the fucking globe. And then you over here telling us, the people down here, you got to work 40 hours a week and you should probably consider working more.
That's because you are the one that keeps their money coming in.
Exactly. And I think the 32-hour week is a way for the, and federal government shouldn't be involved in everything, but it's a way to help streamline, normalize working hours for people when corporations don't really give a shit about you.
Right.
All they care about is the bottom line, the bottom profit, and you're just a speck on that organizational chart.
Prime example. Today I read that DreamWorks, the studio, has laid off half of every department.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Artists are mostly affected. Apparently they are sending a lot of their animation overseas. So the last couple of movies they did, what I saw in the article, have done really well. Like Kung Fu Panda has gone beyond their expectations. So like, it's not like the movies are failing that they're doing. And even they have a new movie coming out, Robot something, I don't know, but the execs tried to get the artists to push it out even earlier because the trailer got such good attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but y'all are firing these people.
I didn't know there was a market for like outside illustrators outside of the US. Yes. I'm not saying that there aren't talented people outside. I'm just like, you're used to things being shipped overseas, like customer service, build product development. But like, so now there's a whole niche for artists, animation.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. If you're an animator, move across the sea then, apparently, because apparently you're more valuable when you're somewhere else.
I mean, it's hard out here. That's a whole nother topic. I won't go into it.
I know it is, but it puts it in perspective that it does need to be looked at. The work week needs to be looked at. People's peace of mind, it needs to be looked at. The arguments of working, I know this is a different argument, but working from home and not working from home and collaboration bullshit.
Oh my God.
And, we work best when we're around people. Like, I think that's all a bunch of dog shit to me, honestly. And I'm sorry if you feel differently. Please at me. I'll be happy to have that conversation with you. But you're telling me that I need to be in the office to be more productive is really a crop of shit to me. And I think I am more productive working from home than I am working in an office. In an office, there's so many distractions. That half the time I found myself going home and I'm like, what the fuck did I do today? Did I get anything accomplished? And I know, again, capitalism, everything is built on you going into work.
Yeah.
Dry cleaners, breakfast places, gas stations, everything is dependent on you going into work. And then, these expensive building companies build, but real estate. So I think it's important. It's the only way that maybe people will start to have a more balanced lifestyle. And I think when you have a more balanced lifestyle, that falls into place everywhere. Not only happier marriages, happier children, like you're spending, like somebody, I saw them on Twitter. They're like, this is crazy. You may only work 8 hours a day, but you're not accounting for maybe the 2 hours it takes you to go to work and come home from work.
Yeah.
To just then only have 4 hours with my family. And then we have to go to bed and do it all over again the next day.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it is. And then like, not to discount your mental health, but driving in traffic for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours. I don't know how people do 2 hours.
Couldn't even do 40.
That's mental gymnastics within itself, because people drive like they are fucking insane. And so doing that, going, dealing with work, coming home, having to deal with that. Also, now you're thinking about work because, I mean, you're thinking about work both times. You're probably like, oh, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And then you get there and then you do the thing. Then you leave and you're like, oh my God, what a day. Oh my God.
Yeah, you can't even unwind because you
can't.
Like some people say, oh, I unwind on my drive home. And I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? Because I'm like, I go from the stress of work to now the stress of not dying driving home.
It's a lot.
So yes, the work week needs to be adjusted. I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon, but I think it's important to look at it not only from the lens of our way of being productive has changed, but also to provide more opportunities for families to be together. You know, this country is always talking about families and kids. So like, let's get it together. Like, you think mom and dad only need, or dad and dad, or mom and mom, whatever the situation might be at home, they only get 3 hours with their kids a week. And then one of them, they're probably spending it trying to do that damn homework. So there is no time to sit there. And then there's sports and all this. Like,
there's a lot.
There has to be a balance. Hell, I would take 4 10s, honestly. 4 10s in a 3-day weekend, but that's just me.
Work-life balance is so important.
Yeah. But thank you to those who responded. I kept it anonymous because I didn't ask anybody if we could share on here. But thank you for answering or giving us your input on what you thought on the shorter work week. What's next on our topic today?
Well, in other news this week,
I wish some of y'all could just see what happens when we, you don't hear or see the breaks. We just cut them. Maybe we'll do a bloopers one day. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. In other news this week, perhaps good news, I'm not entirely sure. So a organization sued Florida over the Don't Say Gay bill. And the judge has made they're
not calling it a change to the law. It is like a clarification statement.
I think that's
to the law
a better way to say it.
Because as Florida's good, we create laws and they're vague.
Yes.
And we don't put anything in it. And then we're like, yeah, vote for it. Cool.
So basically, teachers were very confused because they didn't know if they could talk about if they had a same-sex partner or if they themselves were part of the LGBTQ.
And that was the narrative, that you couldn't say it at all.
Right. And so they would avoid it at all costs because they didn't want to get fired. Lose their job. So,
and not to mention, a lot of teachers moved out of the state.
Yes. And DeSantis made that stupid thing about military people being able to teach. Whatever. That's a whole nother.
That's like a further episode back. Maybe we'll link it.
So now students and teachers in Florida can discuss sexual orientation in the classrooms and gender identity as long as it's part of formal instruction, which helps teachers better be able to just be themselves in the classroom and not have to worry about, oh, little Susie's going to go run and tell her mom that I talked about my husband today.
I wanted to clarify. You said with instruction? As long
it's
as
not part of formal instruction.
Okay. I didn't hear the part.
Oh, okay.
So it cannot be part of formal instruction in the classroom.
Because they're fine with you talking about it as long as it pertains to you, your family, perhaps their family, because there are students out here that have 2 moms, 2 dads, whatever the case may be. They should be able to talk about their parents.
Yes.
So it straightened that part of the thing out. Moving forward, parents and teachers and students will be able to speak freely and write freely about gender identity and sexuality in classroom discussions and essays and projects. Kids can once again read books about being gay. Like this bill definitely needed some instruction, because blanketed, they were just like, we're wiping away all gay, no pride flags.
I mean, books were removed from libraries.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that someone challenged it. I'm glad that even though the bill is not gone, there's at least breathing room for people to feel like themselves in a classroom.
The law still bans outright instruction about gender identity and sexuality. That would include class or a book or even a unit in a section of a textbook that would instruct people in any way about gender identity or sexuality. So the law is technically not gone, it's just clarified. There is also... So remember, there was a ban on the AP African history books because it talked about queer theory.
Yes.
So that is still prohibited. Anything about sociology can no longer be in curriculum either, because it talks about human sexuality. So don't discover yourself till maybe you're, I don't know, 25.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
don't know how anything works down there. Don't know anything about STDs. Like,
they want to leave that to the parents, who most of the time are working 40, 50 hours, so they don't get to spend time with their kids, so they don't have time to talk to their kids about those things. But, you know, this is the world we live in.
This is the world we live in. I mean, I think sexual health is so important.
It is.
Just because you're not teaching it doesn't mean kids aren't doing it.
That part.
And not having any kind of guidance on STDs and sexual health is a disservice to the young people. I'm not going to sit here and make assumptions of, STD rates are going to go up or whatnot. I'm sorry, STIs. But like these are the things that maybe help prevent that, or teen pregnancies or whatnot. But here we are, we want to make sexuality such a big thing. And then it's funny that we say parents can teach that, but then there's other things that parents can't teach their children.
Yeah, it don't make no sense. Just say it how it is. It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
If we don't talk about these things, kids learn it from other kids who probably just learn it from watching something on the internet. And a lot of parents are afraid to talk to their kids about these things because they either think that their kids are going to go out and do it, or they feel like, well, you're too young. Well, too young, I don't know how young is too young, because a lot of these kids, like I said, are just going to hear it from their friends. Mm-hmm. And you don't want your child to have misinformation. You want to arm them with that's what am I trying to say? You want to give them the best information so that they can make the best decision.
Yeah.
And I'd rather them learn that along with their classmates in a place where they feel safe and trusted with a teacher than just some random Joe Blow on YouTube.
No, I agree with you. And, from a community health perspective, like, it impacts everything.
It does.
And I know I'm just kind of focusing on one singular thing of like sex and STIs and such, but blah, blah, blah. But those are real things that aren't examined when they pass things like this. They're pretty much just, what they're really trying to say is, don't talk about trans and don't talk about men on man sex or women on women sex. Like, we don't want anybody to know about that being a possibility. We want you to be straight all the way.
But I don't even think they would focus on that in sex ed. Like, sex ed when I was in school was like, here's some fallopian tubes.
Yeah, it was very
some
basic.
eggs. Yeah, it wasn't anything raunchy, right, or like...
Like, I remember there was like a sexual health topic that we did in I think it was in middle school where that happened, or maybe it was high school. I don't remember. But like, those are key things. Like, parents should teach things to their kids, but there's just some things that, third party should be teaching. And it's not like telling you to do it or not do it. It's like from a point of informational. Like,
It's education. That's the whole reason you go to school. It's called sex education.
so, well, I mean, it's still good. The law was clarified in Florida. It at least provides a safe space for students, and teachers can feel they can be allies for their students. Whereas before, we took every rainbow out of every classroom we could probably find.
And told them, if you said anything about gay, we will hang you.
And if you put any colors that may symbolize a rainbow of any kind, you would get fired.
Yeah.
So good thing there is some clarification there. More work can be done to, get rid of it. But I don't think the courts are going to get that. And I wouldn't depend on our Supreme Court to even take it up.
No.
So I feel like they have kind of been okay with it. Anyways. So here we are. We're like 30 minutes into this podcast. We have some viewer submitted questions.
Ba-bum.
Did you want to tackle those today or leave them towards the next?
How many do we have?
A few.
We can tackle. Let's do 2. Can we do 2?
We can do 2.
And then come back some other day.
Sure. Well, come back to me.
I'm begging you, please.
No, I don't know who sings that.
You know who sings that.
I do. Come back to me. I'm drawing a blank.
Janet Jackson.
Oh, she does sing that. It's okay.
No, really it's not.
Do you still want to see her for your birthday?
Can you read the question?
First question is, do you value personality over looks? Wait. Do you value personality over looks or looks over personality? Sorry.
And I assume this is in the attraction dating world, not friends.
Sorry, that was not clarified in the question.
Okay. I'm going to take it as potential relationship partner.
Yeah, because I don't make friends because they're cute. It helps to have cute friends.
I feel like for me, it's a mixture. You have to have a good personality, or at least a personality that I want to be around, that I find infectious and I enjoy. But I also have to be attracted to you. And I know that attraction is, different person by person.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that people can grow in attraction. Thank you to Married at First Sight. But it's hard. To me, I feel like it is a mixture. Like there are people that their personality has outshined their looks. And even though I'm not saying this person is ugly or anything, it's just that maybe they weren't my type, but their personality was such that I was like, oh, well, you intrigue me regardless. How about you?
I mean, I think I'm of the same space. Like, obviously, everyone has an ideal person that they would feel instantly attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes somebody who has a greater personality that doesn't fit the look or that you kind of feel that you're attracted to
Mm-hmm.
may overcome that look issue.
Yes.
Not an issue. You may become more attracted to them just because of the personality. Just the same as somebody that fits into your category of like, yeah, I'm attracted to you, can also be like, your personality is basura, and you're no longer attractive to me. So
yes,
that could also be.
That can happen where this person you think is like, wow, you're super hot, and then they open their mouth and it's like, no, thank you.
Yeah. So our answer to you is it needs to be some kind of half and half. Maybe
Yeah.
60-40. Maybe it's 60 personality, 40 looks, or maybe it's 60 looks, 40 personality. You can date the hottest person that fits your mold. And if their personality, at least for me, if their personality is basura, I can't deal with it because look, you ain't seeing that naked body all the time. You ain't riding that naked body all the time.
Ooh.
You got to deal with personality most of the time. Like, am I for like?
No, you are for real.
So like, unless you fucking 24/7, then I guess that's not a relationship though at that point. So
Also, I want to clarify something because you are hearing two gay men talk. I am not being stereotypical and being like, that person looks wise has to have a 6-pack and a chiseled jaw and a perfect hairline, because that is not reality. What you're attracted to is what you're attracted to, and that's all body types, whatever the case may be. I just want to make that clarification.
I love looking at a nice thick boy.
Exactly.
I'm just saying. That was team line. Sorry. Final question we'll go for today from our listeners. And these were all anonymous, so can't shout you out either. We got a lot of want to be your friend.
Listen, whoever you are, maybe just DM us and tell us who you are, because
it's
you
even
keep
real,
saying I want to be your friend, and we don't know who you are.
Yeah, I mean, we got so many, like, you're my biggest crush. Lucky to have you by my side. What the fuck? I love your style. Busy this weekend. I feel like we got that last time. This one was, I forgot to add this. Wait, no, does not. Like this one. When are we gonna see each other? It's been so long.
Who are you?
But this is the one I want to say. Somebody said, and this could be just spam as well, but anyways, I took it as like, thank you. It says, just a reminder that you're awesome in every way.
Aww,
So that was good.
Thank you, whoever sent that.
Yeah. Final question. Back on track. My partner has asked me for an open relationship. I'm not sure how to respond or if we should continue dating. What should I do?
The first thing you should do is have a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Sit down,
have a conversation. And, if you don't want to be in an open relationship, then you should express that. And if your partner still wants to be in an open relationship, maybe we have a talk as to whether this is the right relationship for you and him, or they or her or she, whatever the case may be.
I'm not sure.
Because though one partner may want something, the other partner may not. And there are ways to make compromises if you are willing to do so. That is one place you could take it. I don't know. What do you say?
I mean, definitely the first thought shouldn't be, should I still be dating this person? First, have that conversation. Understand where that person is coming from in terms of what they're asking you. Because from what I know, open relationships can look very different for a lot of people. And the word open relationship may have freaked you the fuck out because you probably didn't expect that. But having a conversation with your partner and clarifying what the expectations are, what they want, how you feel about it, is the first thing before you make any kind of decision.
Right.
They may not want an open relationship. In theory, they may just want to, bring in a third. Maybe that's what they meant, but didn't articulate it correctly to you. So there's a lot of things you just need to talk about when it comes to that. before jumping to the gun of ending the relationship. Now, don't compromise your values and what you believe in terms of relationship. So if you don't feel comfortable with that, then, maybe the discussion is that, you're better off as friends in that particular setup if it compromises your beliefs in the relationship.
Yes. But I think we're in agreement that you should start with a conversation, figure out exactly what he meant by that, and take it from there.
We don't know.
Mean by that.
Yes. So conversation. Always conversation.
Effectively communicate needs and wants.
Yes. And you may be feeling some kind of way because they're saying they want an open relationship. Again, have the conversation, understand it, but also understand that people's I can only speak for the gay world, I guess. Sometimes people's desires change slightly in how they perceive relationships. And this may be something new for them that has come to them. And they may want to explore that and brought it to you as they're your partner, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I had blah, blah, blah. So think that it was vulnerable for them to even bring that up to you.
Yeah, because that could not have been easy. I mean, I don't know how long you've been together. But sometimes that's scary to even bring up to your partner because I'm sure they're thinking, if I say this, I can't take this back one. So they're always going to be wondering and thinking, but it's just scary because I don't know what their reaction will be to me saying this to them.
So, I mean, don't take it personal. Have a conversation and move on from there. And, sadly, if it doesn't align with your values, then you need to do what's best for you. Don't ever compromise for something that is going to put you in a bad place, whether it's sexual or dating. Just, if you feel that you need to remove yourself from it after a conversation.
Yes.
I think that's the most important part. Don't throw it in the garbage without having a conversation.
Yeah, don't jump to conclusions because like Manny said, it might not even be an open relationship. It might just be something completely different, but you have to have that conversation in order to figure that out. And just be open-minded about it. I know you will come to the table thinking the worst and because we're human and that's what we do, but be open-minded enough to hear out your partner and really try to put yourselves in their shoes, but also ask them to do that of you if you feel a certain way about what they are proposing to you.
Yep. So that will do it for our listener questions today. We'll save some for next time.
Be my friend.
We will be happy to be your friends. Just, actually send us a DM because I can't decipher off that app who you are, and I'm not paying $3.99. Okay. So, with that said, we're going to close the mixtape. I almost said the issue on the table.
It's not called that anymore.
Throw it back to the Moss podcast days in case you've been with us since then. Let's jump into what's your issue. Welcome back to What's Your Issue, our weekly segment where we tell you what we're pissed off about, what we like, what we want to tell you about, what we think you should hear, see, watch. I don't know.
It's a catch-all.
It's like letter D on a multiple choice test. All of the above.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your issue?
So Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter has come out to tell us what Act 2 is called.
You mean it ain't 13 carriages?
No.
It's not just Act 2?
It is not just Act 2. So we had Act 1, Renaissance.
Renaissance.
And
Renaissance.
Act 2 will be Cowboy Carter.
Cowboy Carter. Yeehaw.
Now, a lot of people are excited. The album is just 2 weeks away.
That's March 29th. So next week after. Sure, whatever.
Sure. So my issue, though, is there have been a lot of people calling the album title basic. Just yesterday, Miss Tina posted on her Instagram, and one of the first comments I saw was, Miss Tina, tell her to change the title of the album because it's basic.
First of all, I don't give a fuck what you name your album. If the music on there is great, that's all I'm going to remember.
Period. But also we were talking about Beyonce, who does not do things without a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Renaissance was Act 1, and it was a renaissance of house music. It was a reclaiming, if you will, because house music has become something completely different than what it was in the 80s and 90s, I feel like.
I don't have enough knowledge there.
Okay. So did a little searching, came across a TikTok. Who doesn't love a TikTok?
This is why it's being banned.
So there's a theory out there that it is called Cowboy Carter, not only because her last name is Carter, but very fitting. And not only because it's country, be cowboy, very fitting. So there used to be a family called the Carter family, who are credited with being the first family of country music. They were recording between 1927 and 1956. So way back in the day. So this was a family affair. There was a husband, a wife, and then her sister. Her sister is the important part of the story. Her name is Maybelle. She played the guitar. So she crafted this ditty, I don't know, something that you could do on a guitar, and it was one of a kind. People loved the sound. They put it into different country music songs, and they called it the Carter Scratch. That was the nickname for it. Now, as legend would have it, now these are white people. I forgot to mention that. These are white people. Okay. It's important to the story.
Okay.
So they met a man, her brother-in-law met a man. His name is Leslie Riddle. He was a black guitar player. And he often tagged along with the Carters as they went across the country. They would go to different black families and ask them if they had any familiar songs or, songs that they could sing for the Carters. And this black man was very good at remembering chords and sounds and lyrics. And the guy called him a human tape recorder, basically. So he would memorize the chords and all of this and then teach it to Maybelle. And then the Carters would record the song and profit off of it and not pay the families.
Uh-huh.
Put that out there.
It's like old school AI.
Yeah, in a way. So also the Carter Scratch that she is known for, apparently this black man taught her how to do it. But she is credited with it because it's named after her.
Okay.
They would also do this with Mexican music. So a lot of influences from black music and Mexican music to make their own music. So a lot of people are speculating that Cowboy Carter has a number of meanings, and this is one theory. It's a theory, it's not a fact. The Carter family is a real family, though. I'm telling you that. They think.
Wait. So the Carter family is white.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm still trying to grasp. Go ahead.
They are a white family who was credited with being the first family of country music.
Okay. So she's honoring the white family?
No.
Okay.
since they are credited with being the first, and they literally took music from Black people, she is reclaiming.
Oh, because she's the first.
She is reclaiming the country music
Okay. That was
stolen.
Got it.
Basically, kind of, again, my opinion, the way that house music was kind of taken from the artists in the 80s and 90s and made into what it is today, which is not a resemblance of what house music is anymore.
Got it.
Again, my opinion. You can feel how you want to feel.
Oh.
But do feel this way.
Oh.
Know that this is Beyonce. She doesn't do anything without it being purposeful. So when you hear this album and you might hear a little merengue on it, or you might hear, I don't know, something different than you're used to hearing, just know that she is just reclaiming country music to where it started.
All right.
And that's my issue.
Thank you for that history lesson.
You're
today.
welcome. It's not basic.
She is upset, honey.
You're basic. Do you have an album coming out?
No.
No, didn't think so.
Basic bitch. All right.
Did you go on a world tour?
Okay, we're gonna calm.
Didn't think
We're gonna
so.
calm it down. All right. You need to get fan off with Beyonce's fan that I have back here. I saw the title and I was like, oh, okay, cute. I was a little shocked she didn't say like Cowgirl Carter, but that was the only thing that kind of hit my.
There's another theory about a black cowboy, but I didn't put that one in my show notes.
Okay, we got a whole nother episode for that. Yeah, I saw nothing wrong with the title. I'm just like, cool, that's the direction we're going.
Girl,
Awesome.
she could have
Can't
called
wait
it
to hear it.
Hubba Bubba, and y'all still would have been streaming it on the day it comes out.
I know. I got to get to my issue, but
Go ahead.
let's go back to Renaissance. People complained about Renaissance. What is she doing? What is this music? And let me tell y'all, when y'all went out there and bought up every goddamn seat on her tour and made me have to pay double price for my ticket, y'all didn't give a fuck about the name Renaissance and the music, right? You just wanted to be in there, didn't you? So
And
you
bought
get
your outfit for it too?
Get your little TikTok and just like that. If she goes on tour for Cowboy Carter. Your ass is going to be in that seat watching her perform in your little cowboy outfit too. So shut up. Anyways, I digress.
What's your issue?
My issue is going to be quick today. I'm going to let this clip speak for me.
We solved everything.
Cool. So you're giving us free healthcare?
No.
More affordable housing?
No.
Lowered average rent?
No.
Eliminated the $34 trillion of debt?
Nope.
Stopped daily mass shootings?
No.
Enacted climate change policies?
Nuh-uh.
Gave all U.S. citizens equal rights?
No.
What exactly did you do?
We banned TikTok so China doesn't steal our data.
I really don't see how that solves anything.
Hold on, I'm posting to Facebook about this thing I just bought on Temu.
I don't know how much more simpler we could have put it at the fact that this bill to ban TikTok is absolutely asinine considering everything else that's going on in our country and in our world. It also proved to us that Congress can slap shit together and pass it through the chamber with no problem. Yet we still want to sit here and complain about immigration, healthcare, lack of gun control, blah, 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 blah.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. Like this TikTok bill passing, one, doesn't fix the issues of privacy in the world of social media because we're just focusing on TikTok because they're a Chinese company, whereas Facebook over here using your shit back and forth and talking about, oops, we had a breach, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. Like, let's work on privacy and security. It's like immigration. We want to bitch and moan about the border, but we don't want to create an immigration reform bill. Comprehensive. We also don't want to address the issues of security and technology. We just want to ban TikTok because it's affiliated to the Chinese. Yet, I can't tell you how much more accessible news is on TikTok. And I'm not talking about everybody's craziness because there are craziness on there. And that is the entertaining part of TikTok.
It is.
But I feel TikTok has empowered journalists that might not be with the mainstream medias, which that is one of their problems. They're out here preaching and telling us the truth about things. Yes, again, there are crazies on there, but you can filter through that shit. I'm like, this is not going to solve the issues we have with security or privacy in our country, because we don't want to address the corporations that are here in the US that are doing the same shit that probably TikTok is doing. Because why? Because yo quiero dinero. I want money. It's all about fucking money in the capitalism of this country. That is my issue.
Yeah.
I kind of sound like a little bit of a preacher there.
You had a preacher.
I was pretty tense. Like I felt like I was in a whole different world.
Did you think you were on Greenleaf?
Oh, yes. Oh, I love Greenleaf. That's such a good show. So that was my issue. Y'all built this from 2 days, and then President Biden, you talking about you gonna sign it, sir? I could throw something in your head.
Don't do that. I hope somebody by now has told him, like, hey, this isn't a good look for you. I know that some Democrats were on board with the TikTok
a good majority
banning, but like, y'all killing one social media platform when the other social media platforms do the same thing does not seem like a good thought out plan. Because then it seems like you're only targeting TikTok because the owners are China based.
Yeah.
So if they sold TikTok to an American company, will we still be banning TikTok?
Probably not.
I'm confused.
Because, the security is in here. But it still doesn't solve the security components of. Like, Facebook is absolute trash.
Super trash.
But they also own Instagram. They own Threads. They own the whole Meta corporation. Like, and then Twitter, we all know who owns Twitter now. Like, yes, these are people that are up there with all the little minions of rich people, probably passing money to them. And this is why the eye is not on them. And this is why we don't really care about American security. We just care about banning TikTok because, one, associated to Chinese or China. And then two, because people are actually empowered in a way because TikTok does have some really strict rules about posting shit. So
they do.
I think they're more strict than Instagram. Yet they're the ones getting bashed. TikTok, you put in the wrong hashtag and they knocking your video down.
I just feel like it's also, besides the China thing, is that TikTok is a place that you can go and get the real deal about most of these politicians, about most of the bills that they're trying to pass. And people just be on there telling the absolute truth without any of the fluff. And that's liberal fluff or conservative fluff. Mm-hmm. You don't get any of that. You just get facts, which is what people miss from like actual news nowadays. Everybody's a propaganda machine.
Yeah.
And so you go on TikTok and somebody actually breaks down what this law means or what this bill means or what if they pass this, then this, is where you can get information without having to deal with all the other bullshit.
Yeah. One of the big issues too was, the Israel-Palestine conflict. There has been a lot of news that has been showcased about Palestine through this process on TikTok. And we're able to see the truth behind what's happening.
Right.
And that's another thing they don't like. And again, I'm not saying both sides are correct. Innocent lives are being killed, unnecessary in terms of the Israel-Palestine issue. But we as Americans get to see what's really happening in Palestine through TikTok.
Right.
And that really scares our government.
Right.
Because Democrats or Republicans or independents, because we have been steadily funneling money to one part of the conflict. And now we're seeing the other part of the conflict that really doesn't want to be talked about here. Yeah. Example, that clip we showed about Bernie Sanders, it took me forever to find that clip because everybody else glossed over his factual point about France already being a 35-hour work week, looking to go to 32. So it's like, even liberal and conservative news media are just twisting everything to create buzz. And I really do think it's it's not just that they're associated with Chinese or why do I keep saying Chinese? China, Jesus, China, China. I'm a mess.
Come on, Trump.
But yeah, I'm over it. Like, ban TikTok. Not to mention the people that actually have found success there to make money. Now you're fucking with their livelihood because of some political gain.
It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. The TikTok said it all. We have so many other things that we should be focusing on. TikTok is at the bottom of that list.
Yeah. It's like we always say here, like some of these things we're dealing with as priority should be at the bottom of that bucket when we actually fix the issues. Then it's like, okay, we're practically perfect. What's some bullshit shit we could start messing around with?
Right. Meanwhile, there was a mass shooting over here. There was a mass shooting over there.
A person died because they were being bullied. Anyways, we're going to wrap up episode 69. Yeah. 69. Hit us up in the inbox if you like the number 69. No, just
oh my God. If you would like to message him about 69, you can do so by either sending us a DM, and we're on those platforms that should also be looked into, by using MASXP23. Also on YouTube, we will have some Virgin Voyages birthday vlogs coming very soon. You can also email us at mannyandsean@gmail.com. That's MANNYANDSHAWN@gmail. Manny, we also have a phone number.
We have a phone number if you want to send us a text or leave us a text. Or not. It's time to go. Send us a text or leave us a voice message if you'd like to tell us a story or something you want us to get an input on. You don't have to say your name. We're not going to rat you out.
It's anonymous.
It's anonymous at 813-461-4493. 813-461-4493. Drop us a story. Drop us a message. Tell us what the hell's going on in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, so that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for coming back. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Go out, be free, and whatever you do, stay sexy. Kidding, that's a different podcast.
The pollen is so crazy here in Florida.
It is getting...
I feel like I can't breathe when I go outside. And my eyes are actually itchy right now. It's annoying.
Anyway, don't forget, do something good for yourself.
And then do something good for somebody else. Someone else. Somebody. Someone. Whoever. It's not you.
That boy. Bye, y'all.
Catch you on the next one.